And here's the other problem. There's other things you need to understand. Shopping your insurance is not going to help you on this. How many times can you actually shop your insurance and move the needle 20%? You don't. So shopping your insurance is not to be enough. And number two, you have to understand a little bit of how insurance companies look at you today and how they price your insurance. First off, they're looking at companies, they want to try to predict what your frequency or severity of injuries could be. Makes sense because they got to pay a claim. Let me ask you this. What is, and I'd like to have some answers on it, what is the most an insurance company has to pay out for medical and wages for an injured employee? Does anybody know the number? That's the, yeah, 66, that's good from a percentage of wages. But what's the top dollar amount? Where's it cap out? Trick question. It doesn't. I've seen actual claims in the multi-million dollars. So you have to understand, that's why insurance companies, they're not afraid of you having a laceration, a, you know, for lack of a term, a splinter. They're afraid of the guy that gets a shoulder injury and then spends 3 or 4 years at home because an employer doesn't want to bring somebody back to work. So they're looking at these things. They're looking at the analytics. Where are the claims coming from? Because how many believe insurance companies are a nonprofit? Okay, good. Nobody answered on that one. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your website. So if on your website you got some really cool photos of you guys doing some really crazy stuff, get it off. It will actually cause insurance companies not to want to quote you or charge you a much higher rate. Look at that. Number two, if you say, hey, I don't got a website, that's good. How many, from an insurance company perspective, they're saying how many legitimate businesses don't have websites? It's also an equal negative. So that's one thing you have to look at. Second, they're concerned about how well are you protecting your employees. So if you have anything and any information about your safety programs, how you train your employees, how you orient them when you get new employees, all that kind of stuff, build a, what you might want to call a packet to try to sell yourself to the insurance company. Show them why you're a good risk, why you're a good operation. That will get you better rates. Competition's only going to get you so far. You need to drive it further because very few agents will actually understand this and drive it home. I'm a risk manager by trade. I just got trapped in the insurance world because I got tired of agents not understanding what it means when somebody does risk management, does safety, and actually is proactive. So you want to make sure you have all this. And ideally, you want to have the insurance company come out and look. Although for most, they're not going to be able to do that. So take photos of your job sites, recent photos, have them dated, and make sure they're, you know, you have housekeeping in order, the employees are working safe, they got their, you know, goggles on or safety glasses, all that kind of stuff. And then you also want to give them a sample list of the last couple jobs that you did and maybe your biggest jobs. What you did, where it was, how long it took, and the dollar amount of the contract. That way they start getting a feel for what you do. They don't think, oh, well, they do anything. No, I got a feel for what they're doing. That's what they're going to say. So basically, the more negatives leads to higher premiums. So not only just being safe, not only do that, there's other little nuances you got to pay attention to or at least be educated that you have to deal with.